Right, this whole morning, Natasha Piri has been bringing us up to speed in terms of counting down to the State of the Nation 2020 this evening. Natasha, what's the latest?
Well, very good morning to you. It's nearly 12 from the much anticipated State of the Nation address that will be delivered by President Cyril Ramaphosa. And of course, we have promised to give you rolling coverage of every State of the Nation address, and as part of that, we've got various voices and various leaders of political parties that we are actually currently speaking to. I'm now joined by the Reverend Dr. Kenneth Meshoe of the ACDP, and of course he'll just engage him on a number of factors, on a number of things, a number of issues. Thank you so much for Reverend. I mean, looking back at last year's State of the Nation address, and looking at what has actually come to life, you know, has been made manifest by President Cyril Ramaphosa and his administration. Could you say there are actually any positives that came out of last year?
Well, the negatives by far outweigh the positives. If you look at crime, it has not improved. You look at the unemployment is rising, is increasing. That is why one of the expectations we have is to hear what the president is going to reverse the rising unemployment in South Africa. We do not want unemployment to increase, but we want employment and job to increase, and that is unfortunately not happening. Crime in South Africa is out of control, and it is one of the contributory factors that investors would doubt to come in the country. As we know that there has been 2 investment summits, but on the ground you do not see the outcome, practical terms, in practical jobs that are created that comes out of that summit. We know that most investors are looking for public stability. There is no stability in South Africa, public or political stability, and they're also looking at policy certainty. Government is not clear on where they stand. On the issue of expropriation of land, you are getting conflicting messages. On the issue of using people's pensions, employees' pensions to bail out Eskom, you are getting conflicting messages. And obviously, as ACDP, we are totally opposed to government using the pensions of men and women who have worked very hard over the years to try and bail out Eskom. That is totally unacceptable for as long as the ACDP sees the future of this country.
I mean, staying on the issue of Eskom, I was just off air reading an article right now that just came through right now that says that, Eskom will start offering voluntary retrenchment packages to managers of care operations as well as employees over 60. Is this a way to actually relieve, Eskom of its woes, of its debts?
It's a small way of going in the right direction, because we have been hearing that Eskom is overemployed, that there are many people at Eskom now who should not be there, because when the politicians and the presidents were promising creation of job, they were just adding. So as a result, Eskom is overstaffed. So if they are giving voluntary packages, I think it's a step in the right direction. We must welcome that for as long as they promise. And we want to hear the president express himself. As long as we hear that our brothers and sisters who have been employed, teachers, nurses, and so on, that they are not going to lose their pensions, which would be very, very wrong and would be, I think, criminal.
Reverend Meshoe, still on the issue, of I mean, there's so many troubles around, the power utility. They're struggling to keep the lights on. I mean, what is the way forward? Does the ACDP believe that Eskom should be privatized?
Well, definitely we agree that Eskom should be privatized. But the second thing that I think is important is to remind the Eskom board and government that around 2008, Eskom was the best power utility in the whole world. So if government was serious about solving the problem of load shedding, they should be asking the question, who was running Eskom that made them the best? So if they are serious, then they should say, once we know who they are, regardless of the color of their skin, we will employ them. I think government should put the issue of race aside. After 25 years, things are falling apart. They should say, South Africans, we need to start working together in order to build and rebuild what has been lost. So Eskom, one of the solutions, I believe, is to bring in the best brains, the best expertise that is available in the country. Sometimes you hear them saying they are going to bring in international experts. Now, that I don't understand, because when they say they are going to bring in international experts, they are talking about white people who are somewhere in Europe or in America. They are not talking about black people. They are not talking about Africa. When they say international experts, they are talking about white people. So I'm saying, why use white people from Europe when you have white people in South Africa, particularly those who have established themselves and proven their ability by ensuring that Eskom becomes one of actually the best in the whole world.
Last question before I go to my next guest. I mean, I know that education is also expected to be highlighted in the president's speech. You were quite vocal about the issue of education. You're now taking the Minister of Basic Education, Enji Motshekga, to court over sex education.
Well, we wanted the minister to be reminded that individual teachers in South Africa have constitutional rights. You cannot just trample upon their rights and force them to work against their own consciences. All right? So the ACDP is definitely planning to do that. But as we are discussing this with the leadership of the ACDP, we see that maybe it's an empty threat. Let's not run to court now until we see her take a concrete move. If she does take a concrete move and we see her forcing and trying to retrench or even expel some teachers, then we'll go.
So you're no longer taking it to the courts?
No, we'll take it if her threats become real. Because now we are told, no, maybe she's just threatening, it's empty threats, okay? So once they become real, then we'll take the matter to court.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll catch up with you later.